There's no refuting that fact. There's no refuting that fact. AEW TV is better with CM Punk on it. I don't give a shit what you feel about him. I don't give a shit what you think about him. I don't give a shit if you want him gone because you think that he's going to go back into the locker room and do the same thing over and over again, and he's nothing but a cancer and a disease to any locker room that he's in. AEW TV is better with Punk on it. The interest is better. The interest in the product is up. The vibe is completely different. Merchandise is through the roof. Live gate is through the roof. Pay-per-view numbers are fucking through the roof for Tony Khan. Story is better when he is there. The show is must-see when he's there. That's the vibe he brings. If you don't like that, then you don't like the truth. And you're evading the truth. You're avoiding the truth for whatever reason. Simple. You can hate him all you want. I'm not telling you can't like him. But don't tell me that AEW TV is not better with CM Punk. Don't tell me that you don't believe that. Give me a break. Thank you, Joseph, for the $5 super chat. Marzi Christ with a $1.99. You're the GOAT. I got a cold Ciroc Lemon OTS. Yeah! Thank you, Marzi. I appreciate it, brother. Captain Solo with a $5 super chat. How about the ultimate swerve of Sammy turning on Kevin, helping the Usos retain? And you guys are crazy, man. Rejoining the bloodline. Nobody sees it coming. No, none. Tag team titles.
Rogue agent detected.
Night 1. Sending the crowd home happy. Jaxo with a 20 bomb. If CM Punk comes back, then Tony Khan can kiss Kenny, Matt, Nick, Adam Page, and Chris Jericho goodbye forever. Did you just repeat what Joseph Taylor wrote from? Are we copyright infringing Joseph Taylor wrote? Thank you, Jaxo. Captain Solo, $2 super chat. JD, you don't enjoy a good eggplant parmesan? No, I don't like it. I do not eat eggplant. I enjoy a good meatball parmesan. I don't eat eggplant. I don't eat fish. I don't eat veal. I rarely eat pork. Depends on how it's cooked. Honestly. I might as well be a fucking fake Italian. It's me, Mario! Dirty Fruity with a $1.99. Favorite WrestleMania match that doesn't include HBK. Shawn Michaels, I include Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart versus Steve Austin, WrestleMania 13. In their fabled submission match. West Coast Samoan with a $5 super chat. Guinness is greater than PBR. Man, I seen a poll on Twitter tonight where people were voting which is the better beer, PBR or Guinness. And 64% of the vote had PBR. Now you're talking to someone that's actually been to the Guinness brewery, took a fucking class on all Guinness, and got a certificate on how to pour proper Guinness. Drank Guinness the entire fucking trip. I've been drinking Guinness for years. I've drank my fair share of PBR as well, and I didn't know shit about beer. So if you think PBR is a better beer than Guinness, then you should have your beer drinking privileges revoked. Seriously. And John 10 with a $1.99 super chat. Do you think Orton returns at the end? Yes, sir.
Let's go!
Maybe he costs Cody the championship. No fucking. Figure that out.
I ain't fighting in those spaces.
What's up, Randy Orton beat?
Fucking move.
Ricardo Lino with a $4 impact. Get out of my fridge. Hashtag, get out of my fridge.
Yeah, no goddamn on the wood.
Captain Solo, you never had a PBR? Keep it that way. PBR is fucking awful. It is basically piss-flavored beer. Anyway, guys, I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you. I had a fun time tonight. Hopefully I made you laugh. Hopefully I gave you the review that you guys usually come for. It's going to be a big week, man. It's going to be a big week starting. I may have an extra up tomorrow. I'm not really sure what's going on. Or I may just take the day off because I'll be in the shorts then just come back with live stream on Sunday. It's going to be a big show Sunday night. So make sure you guys tune in to Sunday night. We're going to go, there's so much stuff, man. I may even just to be honest with you. But we'll figure it out. And should be a great week, man. OTS on Sunday night. Monday Night Raw Go-Get Show for WrestleMania on Monday. Tuesday we might be streaming WrestleMania 4. Wednesday Dynamite. Thursday live stream in the afternoon. Friday, my mother's basement. My mother's basement. Can't wait, man. It should be great. It should be awesome. Thank you guys for joining me tonight, man. Please hit that thumbs up. We need 50 more likes for 800. I'd love to get to 1,000. I know we will once this gets published, but we can get as close to 1,000 as possible. I would really appreciate it. Thank you so much, everyone. Tonight, thank you for the recommitment to the VIP Club. Thank you for the membership tonight. Thank you for almost 2,000 live here tonight. Awesome stuff. Follow me on social media at JD206, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Cameo. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on the bell for notifications. Go check out all the existing content on the channel on the homepage this week. If you missed anything. And check out the Ridge, man. Ridge.com/script. 40% off. Celebrating their 10-year anniversary. Guys, if you don't see me tomorrow in the sub boxes, we'll see you live on Sunday night right here from the venue. On off the script, gonna be a big show. So join me then, man. Have a great night, have a great Saturday, and I'll see you Sunday live right here on OTS.
I finally cracked the code. Since starting semaglutide from MaximusTribe.com, I'm down weight, my cravings are under control, and I actually feel in charge of my body again. No crash diets, no endless cardio, just real results. If you're stuck in that weight loss struggle, this is the game changer you've been looking for. Get started today at MaximusTribe.com.
Results may vary. Claims have not been reviewed by FDA, and Maximus does not claim to treat or prevent disease. MaximusTribe.com.
I finally cracked the code. Since starting semaglutide from MaximusTribe.com, I'm down weight, my cravings are under control, and I actually feel in charge of my body again. No crash diets, no endless cardio, just real results. If you're stuck in that weight loss struggle, this is the game changer you've been looking for. Get started today at MaximusTribe.com.
Results may vary. Claims have not been reviewed by FDA, and Maximus does not claim to treat or prevent disease. MaximusTribe.com.
Hey, it's Gold Swindale, and I want to meet you in all at the iHeart Country Festival.
Register now at ChumbaCasino.com for your chance to win a VIP trip or two to the 2025 iHeart Country Festival.
Thanks to our friends at Chumba Casino, you can win a chance to head to Austin with a friend and meet me backstage.
Plus, treat the show with some real VIP treatment. That sounds like a good time.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 21 plus. Sponsored by Chumba Casino.
We need to reconnect the local system to the satellite network.
Why?
Should be able to do that at the no
Been so successful. Why is Triple H running WWE better than Vince McMahon and Bruce Pritchard on Monday and Friday night? Long-term booking. What is going on, guys? Thank you so very much for joining me right here on Off the Script. This is episode 471, March 26th, 2023. I'm your host, New York. As always, coming to you live from the OTS venue. Thank you guys so very much for joining me on your Sunday evenings, wherever you may be. Man, we got a lot to get into tonight. I'm not even going to waste any of your time. Quickly, you guys know the deal. Follow me on social media. At JD from NY206. That's Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Cameo. You guys know the links are down in the description below. So go check that out and follow me on socials, which is going to be a big deal this week, man. Very important because it's WrestleMania week and we have a lot going on. And I'll be posting this on social media, but this is the schedule coming up, guys. If you guys are going to want to be in the know on what we're doing for WrestleMania week. Monday Night Raw on Monday, that's tomorrow. And then we got Tuesday, we're going live on Kick for the first time. Resident Evil 4 live stream. We'll be playing that, and it's going to be awesome. Can't wait to dive into that. It's my favorite Resident Evil 4. My favorite Resident Evil game is Resident Evil 4, so the remake just came out. I'll be playing that on Tuesday. Wednesday, AEW Dynamite with Jesse. Thursday will be OTS. That's a typo there. It says 472. It should be 471. But I will be live with Off the Script on Thursday. Friday, SmackDown Post. That is the go-home show for WrestleMania Night 1 and the debut of My Mother's Basement. And then Saturday, we're doing Stand and Deliver Watch-Along. So that'll be on YouTube as well Saturday afternoon if you guys want to watch NXT TakeOver or not really TakeOver. It's definitely looking more like a TakeOver than previous NXT pay-per-view, but if you guys want to watch the NXT Premium Live event with me on Saturday, if you guys want to watch the Premium Live event, Stand and Deliver, I will be watching it live for you guys on YouTube. First time I'm doing anything like that since the early Twitch days, where we used to do that with the Black and Gold TV show on Wednesday on the WWE Network. So that was going to be going on there. Saturday, WrestleMania Night 1 post. You guys know the deal there. Sunday, WrestleMania Night 2. And then Monday, the Raw after Mania. So we have legitimately 7 days next week, and then going into Monday. So it's going to be a busy week right here on the podcast. And so if you guys want to hang out with me next week, you know where to find me. And I'll be posting that on my socials, so make sure you guys take a peek at that. Make sure you also go check out all the other videos that you might have missed on the channel. Plenty of it. YouTube Shorts, live streams, OTS Extra, I believe I did this week as well. So go check that out on Thursday. Everything you need is on the homepage. Hit that thumbs up. Let's try for 1,000 likes tonight. Big show. 1,000 likes tonight on the podcast. Super chats are open. Get them on in. We'll hang out at the end of the show. As always, never an obligation, but always appreciated. Memberships are open as well. If you guys want to get in on the live stream chat tonight, it's members only. If you guys know Sundays are members only.
Don't get too close in there. They're going to spawn out that door over there.
Members only because it's a brand opening My Mother's Basement, which you got this for the first time. New extension to the OTS venue. So make sure you guys go and hit that join button if you want to be part of the studios on Friday night. Tonight's show sponsored by The Ridge. As always,
One up top.
My friends over at The Ridge a little bit later, but today's the last day you guys can get 40% off. So act fast. You got a couple of hours left. 40% off anything on their website. Ridge.com/scripts. Go get yourself a new wallet, a brand new wallet today, courtesy of the podcast. And want to thank The Ridge for sponsoring the show right here. On Off the Script. Let's get into the news, man. I'm going to start light, and then we'll get into the heavy stuff, man. As always, that's the way we operate here. I'm going to start off with WWE. SummerSlam. I've talked about SummerSlam a lot in the last couple of weeks. I think SummerSlam should be the home base, the grounds for Cody Rhodes to win the WWE Championship from Roman Reigns. Not at WrestleMania, but at SummerSlam.
Right here.
SummerSlam was announced in Detroit. First time that...
Put your shield down. Put your shield up.
Detroit for SummerSlam since the 1993 version of SummerSlam, the Lex Express, which celebrated a win over Yokozuna but failed to capture the WWF Championship. At WWE this week, they unveiled a brand new logo, which you see there, man. The SummerSlam logo is right there. I love it. SummerSlam, Detroit. Got a little bit of a Detroit feel for sure. It's got a little bit of a Ford Mustang type feel there. It's got a little bit of a Detroit Pistons type vibe there. But that is the new logo for SummerSlam this year, the 2023 version. I think it's sweet. I think it's very, very beautiful, in fact. And that is the latest SummerSlam design right there. It looks like, folks, now, depending on how involved Vince McMahon is going to be, I may have to get Salrex to do a brand new logo design of that in the SummerSlam. I think that would be great. Maybe we should get to work on that. Maybe we should get to work on that before the summer, man. So that's the new SummerSlam logo. WWE unveiled that this week as well. So let me know what you guys think about that one down below. And
There's two.
Going to be a major party this summer, man. WWE holding that show for the first time in Detroit since 1993. Cinnamon Toast Crunch! I don't eat it. It's shit. I haven't eaten Cinnamon Toast Crunch since maybe I was in grade school. I don't know why.
Hold on, get together first.
Such garbage. When you have a Magic Spoon, you guys can go get Magic Spoon at cheap one. MagicSpoon.com/script for $5 off. It tastes exactly the same as Cinnamon Toast Crunch, but a lot healthier for you. But Cinnamon Toast Crunch is sponsoring WrestleMania and not Magic Spoon. Cinnamon Toast Crunch is going to have a live musical performance at WrestleMania. Now, I don't know what this means. Maybe we get The Miz involved because he's the host of WrestleMania. But at WrestleMania, partner is Cinnamon Toast Crunch. And they have promised that there will be a live takeover. Not an NXT takeover. This is a serious
Keep them up. Keep them up. Keep them up
maybe
for
we'll
a couple
get
seconds.
Captain Crush involved. Maybe we'll get Chocula involved. Maybe we'll get 2K7 involved, man. I don't know. Why are we gonna have the Cinnamon Toast Crunch brand represented?
Oh, yeah. Can you want more? You ready to eat, motherfuckers? Oh, where's your shotgun at? Bring it.
In a press release, it was revealed that the general would see the return of the
Oh, here you go.
Cinemojis. Their bizarre antics. I don't believe this is fucking news. Along with the, I just want to make sure you guys are aware of what's happening this week at WrestleMania. The Cinemojis, with their bizarre antics, along with limited edition
We gotta stay together. We gotta stay together.
in a Rey Mysterio WrestleMania 39 cereal box that will be available for fall. This is the press release for Cinemojis. Celebrate the Cinemoji Toast Crunch cereal. Cinnamon Toast Crunch and WWE are teaming up to bring Cinemojis live during WrestleMania 39. Hosted at
Oh, you bitch. You back,
in
motherfucker.
Los Angeles, April 1 and April 2. WWE should be at SoFi Stadium to witness this magical live performance. You know what I miss this week? We're also encouraged to tune into Peacock to catch the spirited Cinemojis perform live at WrestleMania 39 alongside some WWE superstars. I don't even want to know who the fuck is going to be on stage. And believe me, folks, if you need, the sad thing is there's a couple of bathroom breaks on this show. This segment being maybe the biggest bathroom break of all. I don't know how they could get away with such cringe, but here we are, man. Cinnamon Toast Crunch and WWE teaming up. That must be a lot of money, man. You can probably buy a lot of cereal with the money that they're fucking paying WWE. Give me a break. That's what the New Day is going to be. That's what Big E's going to be doing. Big E's going to come back to the WWE to represent the E WrestleMania, to be dancing alongside fucking Cinnamon Toast Crunch. CM Punk. Let's get into it. CM Punk blasts AEW creative Tony Khan, Jon Moxley, and Chris Jericho in a now deleted Instagram story. The good old tweet and delete by CM Punk, man. Everybody was wondering, hey, man, I wonder what Phil Brooks is up to, man. I wonder what Phil Brooks is up to. Little did we know, he escaped his wife somewhere, went into the bathroom at their favorite coffee shop, and tweeted such displeasure that it legitimately broke the fucking internet this week. And now I'm wondering if Mr. Phil Brooks is even going to be able to come back to the sport we all love, known as professional wrestling. In a now Instagram deleted story, CM Punk responded to what appears to be a claim by Dave Meltzer on his message board about Punk initially refusing to lose to Jon Moxley on the August 24th, 2022 episode of AEW's Dynamite. That was Punk's match for the world title before the pay-per-view. First match back in AEW after he broke his foot in June, which should have never
They come out the side door right here.
I mean, a lot of this nonsense probably could have been avoided if he didn't jump into the fucking crowd like an idiot. But I'm not CM Punk. He was overly excited. And it ended up being a title unification squash victory for Jon Moxley over CM Punk. Then beat Moxley a rematch at All Out in 2022's version of All Out. Before backstage fight, obviously, what you guys know as Brawl Out. After the media scrum that went wild after the pay-per-view. First, here is Meltzer responding to a question about why the build to Punk vs. Moxley at All Out was so short and not advertised well in advance. He says, and I quote Dave Meltzer, "Do you know why they didn't advertise Punk vs. Moxley longer? And why it had a short build? Because Punk agreed to it. Then AEW got a legal letter. They got a legal letter because Punk agreed to it, and then he didn't want to put the match layout the way that it was. He wasn't down with it, so he agreed to it. Then they got a legal letter, and then the legal letter said that he wasn't agreeing to it. And it wasn't a situation that he wanted to put himself in, and they didn't know if he'd come out until Tony put his foot down. I don't really believe Tony put any fucking foot down because he just let CM Punk run over everybody like a goddamn fucking freight train at the all-out media scrum. Then there are a lot of nice things I can say about Seth Meltzer. You can actually argue his position on Moxley was correct, but you can't argue he willingly did what he was meant to do in that scenario. Punk then told his side of the story on Instagram, and in doing so, he made some pretty big accusations here against Moxley and President Tony Khan, while also shitting on Chris Jericho. He says, and I quote, "Sigh, I wasn't cleared to come back to wrestle yet." That one threw me off. The plan was to wrestle at the pay-per-view. I sat and listened to Moxley's Rocky 3 idea. I explained how I'd never seen a Rocky movie, and I thought the idea sucked. But if the boss wanted to do
Get your shield away, get your shield away.
he said he wouldn't lose to me. That also made me roll my eyes. I've never experienced someone refusing to lose to me. I just laughed. I asked Tony if this is what he wanted. He said yes. He's the boss, so I said okay, but I'd need to be cleared first. then kept saying it could just be a squash, so I didn't need to be cleared. I scoffed at that. My health is more important. Dave Meltzer is a liar. Jericho is also a liar and a stooge. There were plans, but plans always change. But I'll never put a company above my health ever again. End quote. Now, Jericho is widely believed to be the one feeding Meltzer all these stories, and is rumored to be staunchly against the idea of CM Punk ever coming back to AEW, which I don't really know if that's true, because Chris Jericho was tweeting, and he quote-tweeted a fan saying that he loved to work with CM Punk again. Now, he didn't say in AEW, but he said he'd love to work with CM Punk again. After the reports of Chris Jericho claiming that he said CM Punk was a cancer. And then we get the report that Chris Jericho kind of doubled down on him saying that he would want to work with CM Punk. Basically said those reports were false. So, I don't know who to believe in that case. And you guys know exactly what I'm talking about, because, I talked about it legitimately in the entire CM Punk saga that Jesse and I covered here on the show. Damning allegations to make against the professionalism and character of each man. Jon Moxley, Chris Jericho, and Tony Khan. Khan, Jericho, and Moxley are legitimately, Tony Khan obviously the most powerful, but Jericho and Moxley, two of the three locker room leaders that Tony Khan has appointed to run the locker room and keep everything in order. So Jericho and Moxley, two of the most powerful, if not the most powerful people under Tony Khan in that company. So the fact that Punk is criticizing them in this manner publicly on social media doesn't really lend to any positivity in him coming back. Let me go back. I said this word for word on Twitter. I got people arguing with me. First of all, I don't believe what he wrote here. I don't. Meltzer says that they advertised the, or they didn't advertise the match. They didn't advertise Punk vs. Moxley longer. Why did it have such a short bill? Because Punk agreed to it. Then he got a legal letter to AEW saying that he wasn't going to do it. And they didn't know if he would come out. So Tony put his foot down and Punk did it. He didn't want to lose to Jon Moxley. Or rather, Moxley didn't want to lose to CM Punk. He's claiming that Moxley did not want to lose to CM Punk. But Moxley lost to CM Punk at the pay-per-view in a 30-minute match where he then tore his tricep. I don't really understand. Why are we going after Jon Moxley then?
Oh, you got.
That's the part
Oh, you got the blueprint. That's the blueprint.
Does Moxley and Punk have to sure. Of course they do. So go back and listen to the promo that Jon Moxley cut the day after All Out. He rallied the troops, he gave a heartfelt promo, and he was fucking pissed. Pissed. But I don't believe for a fucking second that Moxley ever gave anybody a problem in putting anybody over. He dropped the title to Punk at the pay-per-view. I don't really get that. Is so. That part of the story just really made no sense to me. I don't get that. Then Punk goes on and says, "This was a Rocky 3 idea. I explained how I never seen a Rocky movie." But that was the whole premise of the movie. Rocky gets his ass kicked, he goes to train, and then he comes back and wins the big boxing match. Exactly! Jon Moxley laid it out for him! But then he wants to cry and say Moxley wouldn't do the job. But Moxley's idea was Rocky 3, which you played out on Dynamite, which led into the pay-per-view. So why are you claiming Moxley's not putting you over? Because he did. He beats Punk on Dynamite, and then Punk beat Moxley at the pay-per-view. And nobody has beaten Moxley. Moxley is one of the guys that has one of those records that nobody's really beaten. Nobody. So the fact that Moxley laid down, he was going on vacation at that point. He was ready to go on vacation with Renee. you to do the job, to get you the title, and then you want to tell everybody that he wouldn't put you over, but he did. Didn't make sense to me. The idea sucked, but if the boss wanted to do it, I'd do it. He says he wouldn't lose to me. I never experienced someone refusing to losing to me, but he did lose to you. He did lose. I just laughed. I asked Tony if this is what he wanted. He said yes. He's the boss. So I said, okay, but I need to be cleared first. Then he says they kept saying it could just be a squash, so I didn't need to be cleared. Now, we haven't heard from AEW, we haven't heard from Doc Samson, we haven't heard from John Moxley, we haven't heard from Chris Jericho, we haven't heard from anybody in this. We haven't heard from AEW as a release statement, we haven't heard from Tony Khan. I mean, these are pretty fucking damning accusations. For Punk to go out on social media and claim that they wanted him to work injured without proper medical clearance from their doctor, I don't believe that for a fucking second. Tony Khan has done some stupid fucking shit. I don't believe for a fucking second that Tony Khan sent a $5 million investment in CM Punk to go out and wrestle without proper medical clearance. I don't believe that for a fucking second.
There's no I in team, but there is one in Indeed, and that's the hiring platform that you need to build yours. When you're hiring, you need Indeed. Instead of spending hours on multiple job sites searching for candidates with the right skills, Indeed's a powerful hiring platform that can help you do it all. One of the things I love about Indeed is that it makes hiring all in one place so easy because Indeed does the hard work for you. They show you the candidates whose resumes on Indeed fit your description immediately after you post so you can hire faster. Join more than 3 million businesses worldwide that use Indeed to hire great talent fast. Start hiring now with a $75 sponsored job credit to upgrade your job post at Indeed.com/BlueWireSports. Offer good for a limited time. Claim your $75 credit now at Indeed.com/BlueWireSports. That's Indeed.com/BlueWireSports, and support the show by saying that you heard it on this podcast. Indeed.com/BlueWireSports. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire? You need Indeed.
I don't believe that for a fucking second. Just like how I didn't believe that fucking Larry, the dog, got a tooth knocked out at the scrum. I love Punk, don't get me wrong. I'm a fucking Punk mark. But this is bullshit. Just like the fucking side that Punk was on, the story that came out there was bullshit. This is bullshit. There is no fucking way Tony Khan allowed him to work without proper medical clearance. No fucking way. There would be legal issues out the ass if he got re-injured. If they sent him out there and he got re-injured again, give me a break.
You know, on this playground, this part right here.
No way. No way. Then he talked about Dave Meltzer being a liar. Dave Meltzer, supposedly, Dave Meltzer was being fed information from the Young Bucks. That's what the whole scrum was about. By the looks of this Instagram story, it looks like Jericho was the one who was feeding Dave Meltzer all of the information. So if we backtrack to the scrum back in September, if Jericho is a liar and a stooge, and Jericho is the one feeding Dave Meltzer the bullshit, and it wasn't the Young Bucks feeding Meltzer the bullshit about Colt Cabana and all the shit that they wanted, or Punk wanted Colt Cabana fired, and all this other shit, and the Bucks stood up for him and they started feeding Meltzer the information that Punk didn't want Colt Cabana in the locker room, and he didn't want to work amongst Colt Cabana, he didn't want him there. They were about to fire him. Looks like Chris Jericho was the one who was feeding Dave Meltzer everything that you heard. And then the Bucks and Omega and everybody else, they were basically thrown under the bus at the scrum for no fucking reason. It's the way I see it. All of this is so confusing. But Dave Meltzer, Brian Alvarez had to legitimately come out this week and say that the Young Bucks did not have anything to do with feeding us information. He then went on to say Jericho may have talked to Dave Meltzer. Jericho may not have talked to Dave Meltzer. I don't know. That's something that Dave Meltzer is going to have to answer. But here we are making accusations left and right on everything, and we don't have any solid fucking information on anything. And then the fans on social media, you know how the fucking geeks online, they take everything and they run with it. You don't know what to believe anymore. Everybody's got a fucking blue check mark everywhere. You don't know who's legit and who's not. People run with these stories. You got people who are on the inside that aren't really journalists and people who are mingling with the fucking talent that don't have a platform. I don't know where they come from or how they get where they go. But they hear something, it gets passed around, it gets shared on social media, it blows up into something because then it just snowballs after that into more bullshit, and more bullshit. And then you don't know what to believe. You don't. Nobody on the internet, outside of who was there at the All Out Media Scrum, knows exactly what happened at the Media Scrum. My opinion stands on everything I said about the Media Scrum. All of this could have been avoided. Going back to the CM Punk and Adam Page head-to-head on Dynamite before their match, and then Punk gets injured, he stews it home because Adam Page cut a promo, he gets back the first fucking day, and he gives Page a receipt back. All of this could have been avoided. That's where it just started to slow and slow, and it became bigger and bigger and bigger. Tony Khan didn't put his foot down. Tony Khan let it sit, let it fester, and let it get infected. And then it was a full-blown disease by the time Punk got back. And then we get the all-out situation, and then goodbye. Everybody's suspended, Punk is injured, nobody knows what's going on, and Tony Khan did nothing about it. Tony Khan didn't talk to Page, Tony Khan didn't talk to Punk, Tony Khan didn't do anything for Punk to stop at the Media Scrum. He didn't get his microphone cut off, he just sat there like a fucking mark, looking at this guy bury basically the three most important people in his entire company. I don't really understand why he allowed him to do what he did. None of it should have been said. If Tony Khan was a real boss, then that microphone would have been cut off stat. I don't understand why it did. Or it went where it went, as long as it did, while he was sitting there eating Mindy's Bakery. Then we get the report from Fightful about the follow-up and everything that has happened with CM Punk. So Moxley Punk, they detail this in chronological order here. Moxley Punk. In the post, CM Punk confirmed a Fightful report from last fall that John Moxley pitched the idea of CM Punk losing in a quick match before their all-out match. Punk claimed that Moxley wouldn't put him over, but Moxley did put him over at the pay-per-view, and I guess he didn't watch Rocky 3 or any Rocky movies, and it must have went completely over his head because Moxley did put him over at the pay-per-view and dropped the World Championship to CM Punk at the pay-per-view. Those familiar with the situation say that Punk had communicated that he wasn't comfortable competing in any capacity without being cleared first to the August 24th match. Again, I call bullshit. I don't think Tony Khan is going to send CM Punk out there without being medically cleared. I don't believe that. I don't. There have been issues regarding creative throughout the build to the match, and Fightful had reported that there were concerns that Punk wouldn't be at the August 17th Dynamite as well. However, we are told that special travel arrangements were made to accommodate Punk the day of the match, and Punk had at least floated the idea of additional reimbursement for the match as he was working without being cleared per his claims. I don't believe a fucking word he said. I don't. I don't think he was working without being cleared. I don't think Tony Khan would take that type of liability with that type of talent. I don't think Tony Khan is taking that type of risk. John Moxley and Punk have appeared to have heat based on those that Moxley has spoken to after Brawl Out. Moxley helped lead a locker room meeting in the days after with Chris Jericho, who was also called a liar and a stooge in the Punk IG post. Bryan Danielson also led this meeting, but was not mentioned in the Scorched Earth post by CM Punk. And Fightful hadn't heard any heat between Punk and Danielson. Jericho and Punk shouted at each other after the Brawl Out fight took place, while Jericho was calling Punk a cancer on social media, and Punk shouted back at Jericho. Those in AEW believe that if things came down to a Moxley or Punk situation, that AEW would pick Jon Moxley in that decision. Punk is very aware of the heat on him and the possibility of talent walking out should he return, but Fightful have not heard his feelings on it. Some of the heat has certainly died down since All Out, but plenty of that now remains and has now been reopened due to his post on Instagram. I don't know why you have... Well, I know why Moxley has heat with Punk, but I don't know why Punk is throwing shade at Jon Moxley when him and Renee, Punk and Renee are such good fucking friends. Like, why would he go out there and just blatantly blast one of his best friends' husband? I don't really understand the mindset of this guy. You know, a normal human being would be like, shit. You know, and he's made posts about it, forgiveness. You know, I can forgive, but I can't forget type of deal. You know, we could stay at arm's length. I'll walk in the room and I'll say hello at a distance, but, you know, we don't have to be friends. We can be friendly. We can work together. He's made posts about this type of thing and this type of mentality throughout all of this time off the television, recuperating, rehabilitating. Kenny Omega has talked about, you know, this very thing on the Renee Paquette podcast as well. And, you know, he just wants to get on and move on. The vibe that he gave was that he just wants to move on from everything. I believe that everybody could work together in a harmonious way. And if Punk just stayed the course, and if Punk did what he had to do, if he does what he has to do, and he gets back into the company, he needs a public apology to everybody for the way that he acted. Because he came in as the star that he is, and they gave him a lot of responsibility that everybody kind of took and they ran with it. Oh my God, AEW is going to take it to the next level. We got CM Punk back after 8 years. His star power is going to take the company to bigger levels. His star power is going to get more money via the TV rights deals from Warner Media. And everything else that comes along with it. With Punk there, more money to be made. Do not believe Alvarez. I love Brian Alvarez. I think his opinion is fucking great. I love the way he views the current products when he talks about wrestling on the Observer. But I do not believe Alvarez saying that Punk and the Elite and everybody involved here cannot make money. The reason why Punk was brought into the company was for Punk to make more money for everybody. For AEW to make more money. For everybody working on the shows that he's on to make more money. More live games. More pay-per-view revenue. Ratings up. Equals TV rights deals. And a bigger payout for Tony Khan. Merchandise deals. I don't understand how you aren't going to make money with Punk back in the company. Don't use that as a deterrent to keep Punk away. If Punk is back and they end up doing what they need to do here and making money and doing business, then everybody involved is going to benefit greatly. Don't believe that. Because if he's back, everything is going to be through the roof. And the narrative of Punk needs to go away. Punk needs to stay away. Punk is a cancer. Punk is this. We don't need Punk. You can sit there and claim that you hate CM Punk for any reason that you want. You can sit there and claim that AEW doesn't need CM Punk. And they may not need CM Punk. I mean, they survived before CM Punk came around in 2021. He was something that was imaginary at that point, before that point. Nobody knew what the fuck CM Punk was going to do. Then all of a sudden he emerges and things are like the hottest I've ever seen it in decades since the Attitude Era and the Monday Night Wars. We haven't had something like that to sink our teeth into as wrestling fans since that era. Not saying it was as big or as great as that era, but Punk being back was one of the biggest moments in the history of this business. Just seeing what happened to him when he left and his return to AEW with this rival promotion that's going in face to face with WWE. Now they got the biggest name free agent in all of the sport back after 7 years when he said, I'm never wrestling again. They got him. They did something to get him. They attracted him enough making more money than anybody. But don't sit there and think that CM Punk doesn't want to be back. Don't think that CM Punk doesn't love professional wrestling. Don't think that Punk doesn't want to be back in AEW. He's made strides, he's made comments, all other remarks, scripting tweets, and Instagram posts about him wanting to be back. He wants to be back. But don't sit there and tell me that AEW doesn't need CM Punk. WWE would give their left arm and a fucking look to get CM Punk back in WWE. You don't believe me? Guarantee, no matter how much hatred that place has for him, they go after him hard. I don't know if you give them a second look, or a first look for that matter, but they've made any attempt possible to take him away from AEW because they know what it will do to AEW. But don't tell me that AEW TV is not better with CM Punk on it. Then you're just flat out lying. AEW TV is better with CM Punk on the fucking show. He is as legit as somebody like a Brock Lesnar who wrestles somebody like an Omos or Bobby Lashley or anybody like that. Brock Lesnar brings that realism. Punk brings the legitimacy because he brings with it a story that nobody else could tell. He brings with him a voice that nobody else has. He brings with him a realism in what he does and the way he presents himself that nobody else is able to duplicate. Everything around him is better when he's there. Live gate, people buying tickets to come see Punk. Matches feel better. Merchandise is through the roof. Pay-per-view buy rates are up, and they haven't been anywhere close to when Punk was there. Storylines are better. The overall vibe of the show is better when he's there. So don't tell me no. You may not like him for your reasons, and obviously he's got a problem with the locker room. The locker room has a problem with him. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about what he brings to the show. Don't tell me that AEW would not benefit from CM Punk. You're only fooling yourself. Do I think he ends up back there? I don't know. I'll give you that and my opinion in a second. But this is what I had to. Oh, we don't want him back. I don't give a fuck what you want. If he's back, where the fuck are you gonna go? You're gonna be watching just like the rest of us. Don't give me that shit. We're not gonna watch CM Punk back on television. You hate him that much. He's that much of a deterrent for you. I've had people come and tell me they stopped watching AEW television because CM Punk is not there. Now I don't know if you're really AEW fan at that point because you're missing out on some pretty great shit. So I don't really take what those people tell me, at face value. I don't take that with any value at all, really. But are you really an AEW fan if you give me an opinion like that? Oh, I haven't watched since CM Punk has left. You're not really an AEW fan at that point. But please do not tell me that CM Punk is not.
We got finished over here. He's a cowboy.
Value and an asset to AEW when he's on TV compared to when he's not. So, Punk and AEW. AEW and CM Punk have had some contact, obviously. I'm assuming that Punk had some contact with CM Punk. In fact, some close to Punk claim that he has been kind of spoken or had a couple of meetings. Though Fightful isn't sure if anything came of them. Now, Fightful said that they were planning a meeting for February, but that was delayed because of Jarrett's funeral. At one point, those close to Punk believed that he wanted out of his contract without a non-compete attached. However, in recent weeks, they believed that Punk was open to returning to AEW and even wanted to. This was an important note. At least one person claimed that Punk was willing to apologize for the portion of the All Out media scrum. There was a lot of context absent from that claim, specifically to whom or whether it be publicly or privately. At this point, it doesn't fucking matter. Several people said that Punk has expressed some form of regret for that aspect of that night in general. So Punk is guilty of doing what he did, knows that he fucked up, and is willing to apologize, whether publicly or privately, more so privately. Why would he go on social media and blast Jon Moxley and Tony Khan and Chris Jericho, of all people? I mean, You could go out there and target anybody you want, but you targeted the 3 fucking guys that basically are going to be judge, jury, and executioner in your return. I don't really. I mean, I don't know what he's got. I mean, is he? He says he's straight edge. He says he's straight. Is he dropping a couple of drinks in the evening with April? I don't know. I don't know what possessed
down
him
here.
to go after these 3 guys now.
Supply room.
I don't get it. It is so bizarre that he targeted these 3 guys weeks. He's probably cleared by now to come back. Weeks before he's set to return to TV potential. He could be back on TV by the time Double or Nothing rolls through. And he basically targeted the 3-headed fucking beast in AEW. And there's no way they're going to allow him to. It's unreal to me. He would have apologized from one source, from one anonymous source, that he was contemplating, that he was willing to apologize for the post all-out media scrum. I mean, he's human. Punk is like a lot of people, man. He wears his heart on his sleeve. I do the same thing. And a lot of people that do the same thing. We say something, we sit around with it, we regret it, we're angry, we're sad, we go through a whole fucking slew of emotions. I'm an Aquarius. I go through all this shit, my anger jumps out at you. Then I sit with it, and I'm angry, I need to sit by myself, then I get a little bit more stable. Then we go from angry to sad to, then we're thinking about it, and then we apologize when we're ready, but we always apologize. You know that man had to sit home and realize what he did was fucked up. Tony Khan gave him the world, and he fucked up. How he treated Tony Khan, how he treated everybody that night. Like, I get it. Listen, there's nobody here saying you can't defend yourself. But I mean, publicly, like that, sitting next to TK, that's the time you decide to do that? Couldn't do that away from you couldn't do that away from the cameras and behind closed doors? Of course he regretted it. He's a fucking human being. If he didn't, then we'd have a fucking problem. Sources said that Punk was originally considering the potential of legal action. Michael didn't hear anything about that. In fact, those that we spoke to, they say, felt like there had been a productive progression in the opposite direction. However, sources within AEW that we spoke to, they say, lost confidence that Punk would be returning after the March 23rd host. Punk does remain under AEW contract, and they've inquired as to whether or not there was ever a suspension or pay docking involved, but traditionally AEW's paid out wrestlers while they're injured regardless. Tony Khan's not the type of guy that's going to release people or do anything. He'll keep you around, he'll sit you on the bench, and he'll pay you off until your contract expires, and then he'll let you go. I don't think he's really fired anybody outside of maybe a handful of people. Then they go on to talk about the Hangman and CM Punk situation. The issues with Hangman and CM Punk dated back to before their AEW Double or Nothing main event match, to the point where Fightful was told that Punk ended up having a meeting with AEW officials. I hope so. I hope so. Because when he came back, he went absolutely berserk on Adam Page, and nothing was done to stop it. I don't understand it. Fightful was told that Punk had expressed his frustrations regarding Hangman's comments during a promo that Punk believed referenced Colt Cabana and wasn't satisfied with the resolution or lack thereof. This led to him calling out Hangman months later upon his return. Then the injury. As far as CM Punk's injury status, his torn tricep, that all out before the media scrum obviously was a big deal. Those with knowledge of the situation said that he was hopeful he could be fully healthy by late January, but believed that now he'd be able to be cleared, and if not now, very soon. I mean, we're going into WrestleMania, we're going into April. Punk is already rehabilitated. Punk is ready to come back to television when they need him, when they want him. He did everything to fucking basically stop that and potentially never happen. Period. The true accounts of Brawl Out will likely never be known. Nobody will know, unless Punk and the Elite get together and explain in detail, which is very unlikely. However, Fightful learned a little bit more about the situation. There were other talent who were present at the time of the brawl, but did not get physically involved and therefore were not suspended. However, there was another production employee who ended up getting struck with a chair that hadn't been previously revealed. Now, there were some rumors recently that Punk and Kenny Omega had a conversation a few days after, which isn't true. By then, Punk was set for surgery, and Kenny Omega already had other plans. However, Punk and Kenny Omega did have a brief conversation after the brawl-out fight. In the immediate moments following, Punk was said to have told Omega the issue wasn't with him. Those that were nearby said the two were going to continue talking, but Ace Steel was still being dealt with at that point. Even those close with Punk claimed that Omega was surprisingly composed during the aftermath. Omega, and that, I believe that, because Kenny Omega does not look like a confrontational type of guy, and he wants to steer clear of that. Omega had been scheduled to go to Japan to do the Tokyo Game Show, work with AEW, but due to the suspension, ended up taking a personal trip over there. So they didn't allow him to do any company work, and he just took himself over there to do what he needed to do. Obviously suspended, and the game is basically his baby, so he needed to be there. New Japan. CM Punk showed up at the Battle in the Valley in California, and Fightful reported that New Japan Pro Wrestling were not aware that CM Punk was going to attend their Battle in the Valley show, but said that they would have welcomed him regardless. That's a good thing. That's good news. Sources in New Japan just didn't want AEW to think that they were conspiring against a partner, which was cleared up very quickly. And the only reason why Punk was there was because he wanted to support Mercedes Moné in her match against Kyrie, which is perfectly okay because Punk has been very vocal about the way that WWE had treated her and has been very vocal about her and Trinity's walkout. And why would he not support something like that? Because he has been in her shoes before, and he's very proud of the way she operated and did what she needed to do. And if you're not, you can kindly fuck off, because there's a lot of people in that company, especially Vince McMahon, in charge, when he was in charge, that should have did exactly what Mercedes did, but didn't have the balls to do it, or say something to Vince, but didn't say shit to Vince or Bruce Pritchard. She took it upon herself to walk out. That's why he's there. Why wouldn't you want to support someone like that? Fightful reached out to AEW and Punk for additional details on all of this, but did not hear back, and they won't hear back from either in any capacity. You know, all of this is just nonsense. It really is. All of this is nonsense. I feel like I'm a fucking principal, and I gotta deal with children in detention. It's disgusting. Like, these are adults. These are grown men who are arguing amongst themselves. The fragile egos of the professional wrestler in 2023 in this day and age is very sickening, man. Like,